Welcome everyone to another of our free professional development series webinars. This morning we have Jay Lambert from Dallas, Texas, who is, he has a company, Ascend Residential Elevators and Lifts. We're going to be talking about a very important concept, and that's vertical transportation, getting from one level to the next. And let's just let Jay go through it. We are recording this session, and you can all watch it after the fact. You want to see some things again or refer to it, or somebody who couldn't be with us today. So with that in mind, Jay, take it away.
Thanks, Steve, for this opportunity. A little bit about me. I've been in the vertical transportation elevator business for 23 years, and it's been very satisfying. I like it because we get to help people. I would say 70% of our clients need vertical transportation. So it's always exciting to see their smile on their face after we get the elevator installed. So we're going to go over everything from traditional elevators all the way to VPLs and see there. I have a lot of slides to show you pictures and so forth. And I'll focus on what I look for when I go into a house and what I talk to the client about. So thanks for spending an hour with me. Appreciate it. So why specify a residential elevator in a home? That's what we're going to talk about. Or you don't really specify, you just recommend the drive system, the cab sizes and types, which is super important, your client, and then options as well. So we're going to start off with traditional, I call them traditional residential elevators. Those are the square box elevators that go inside a elevator hoistway, or shaft as some people call them. And those usually have to be added before the elevator can be installed. It's not difficult to do. It can be done if you have a good general contractor. So residential elevators provide your clients access to all levels of the home. And really that's why we're here. That's what we want to help our clients with. Residential elevators are easier and safer way for your clients to travel. That's very obvious for most cases, and ideal for clients and seniors and people who are mobility challenged. Obviously, we'd want to go with a bigger elevator for traditional, which means you would want, and then I'll come up with this, but usually it's a 5 foot by 5 foot hoistway, and then what we do is we make the elevator longer as you go into the elevator instead of wider, because you're going to have rails on the side of the elevator, and you'll see that. But that way a tenant can push the wheelchair in and pull them out. And that way, if you go wider sideways, then you got to turn the wheelchair, and we really don't want that. We want easy access in and out. Residential elevators are not just for luxury homes. They're an affordable necessity. Average cost for it, we call it a two-stop, which is first and second floor. They range, without the hoistway, the elevators range from, you can get wheelchair size elevator in Texas, because California's be more expensive, the West Coast can be more expensive, but in Texas you get one for $20,000 to $25,000 installed. That's just the elevator and us installing it and getting it up and running. The hoistways, they could range anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000, just depending on the house and the structure and so forth. Residential elevators will increase the marketability and resale value of the home. That's a great selling point for our customers, because unlike outdoor kitchens and pools, residential elevators, you're supposed to get at least 100% of your money back on a sale. And obviously with the pricing of housing these days, that's not a problem, but down the road. And also what I always tell our customers is you just doubled the clientele that can buy your house. There's not one person that won't buy your house if it has an elevator in it. Because a lot of older people are trying to find houses with elevators in them. So, you know, you just doubled your potential customer base. The elevators can be visually appealing. You know, the one on the left, you can do, you know, commercial stainless steel doors if you want. The top ones, we'll get into that. A PVE, it's a pneumatic vacuum elevator. The one on the bottom's more of that's a CBIS glass elevator. The PVE and the CBIS are pretty expensive. They're around $50,000-$60,000. So a lot of people don't want to spend that much. That's why the traditional elevator is fine. And then the picture on the right is a great picture that shows you how it's deeper than wider when you go in for a wheelchair and attendant. And then you can do anything you want on the inside. So they're the sky's the limit. Elevator market demographics market is segmented into 3 groups, you know, baby boomers, seniors 65 plus, and then of course mobility challenged. Elevator market demographics, just, you know, I just want to show this. It's pretty interesting. There's 70.1 million baby boomers. There's 54.1 million seniors 65 and above. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to help people out there right now. There's a lot of need. I'm shocked of how many calls and requests we get per week. It's awesome. And also I always like to tell people, you know, they're like, well, you know, we're 55, but we're planning ahead. That is the greatest thing I could hear, is planning ahead, because nothing happened. You know, usually people wait till the last second, but you can't get an elevator for 3 months. You know, so anybody that plans ahead is super smart. Multi-generational living, baby boomers, you know, are having parents move in with them. Long and short-term care facilities are expensive. So you invest $30,000 or $40,000 in an elevator to keep mom or dad home, and you know, that's what, 3 months at a care facility maybe. So it's very beneficial. You know, of course, mobility concerns for loved ones are eliminated. It's a lot safer. Installation time, you know, that's always a concern, because we go into people's houses. They want to know, you know, what, how, when, and why. It's usually 2 or 3 days for a two-story elevator. They go in pretty quick. It's nothing crazy. And then code requirements. This is where we're going to start getting into for the wheelchair accessible. You know, minimum 12 square feet. That's 350 pounds. Now that won't fit a wheelchair, but that will fit a walker. And, you know, you could put a little, some people put chairs in the back for if the person's not in a wheelchair, just to sit down in. And then here is really, we need 15 square feet is what we're shooting for a wheelchair accessible elevator, which we always upgrade and try to get them to a 15 square foot elevator. Number one, they probably don't need it now, but in 15 years, they probably will, or they might. So it's easier to make the hoistway a little bit bigger if possible inside the house. And I also have pictures for outside. We build a lot of hoistways outside the house because there's no place inside the house to build the elevator shaft. So 15 square feet is what we're looking for. That's where the 5 foot by 5 foot box comes into play. And really 5 feet by 5 feet isn't too big, but sometimes it's tough to get into a house. So here's like, you know, if you're with a client, and this is what I do, I always say, do you have any house plans, or what do you have? So we can, you know, I can look at a house and say, yeah, this would be a good place. But it's great if they have plans. I would say maybe 20% of the customers have plans, but this is plans without an elevator. But, you know, with a little bit of help and a little bit of demo, we can make it happen in the same area. We'd have to demo that bathroom, but there's ways to do it. So that's something that we look for when we walk into a house. I mean, we spend probably 30 minutes. Whoops. I got to figure out how to do that. Pause. No. That's what we look for mostly. We spend about 30 minutes probably looking at throughout the house, the second floor to the first floor. We actually work our way from the second down to the first to see where they're trying to land upstairs. Construction requirements. Hey, Steve, how do I stop this from moving so fast? You're on mute.
You may have it on automatic advance. So do you have it timed? You have to go back into your settings. We actually just go back this slide, just go back one, and then you can continue talking. There you go.
All right. So construction requirements. Yeah. What we look for is stacked closets. Home builders now are starting to build closets one on top of each other. Here in Texas, they are for future elevators, which is awesome because it saves the home buyer, number one, a lot of money to retrofit their house for an elevator. And it's not that difficult for and we're working with a lot of architects right now to do this. And it's been super, super helpful for the homeowners to have, you know, their stacked closets on top of each other, or at least an open area up top for an elevator shaft to be installed. Yeah, typical home elevator stacked closet to push on architects, and it's really, really beneficial. First and second floor stacked directly above one another, so you know the closets are right above. So all we have to do is cut out that for the elevator. Closet size. Oh shoot. Oops. Closet size to match elevator shaft size. The ceiling height, usually everybody has 8-foot ceilings or bigger. 8-foot ceilings is awesome. That'll be plenty of room. Back of railing wall framing is double stack. That's just where the rails go. That doesn't really pertain. I should have taken that out. That's more of a construction. That's more right here. This is where the rails go up, and that's where the elevator is lifted. So like I said earlier, install removable or temporary flooring and closet on each landing. You know, elevators can go 5 stories if they need be. So offset doors for elevator requirements, that's more of a general contractor thing. But the doors, on traditional elevators, you have a hallway door right here, which opens up this way, and then your gate for your elevator slides across. So you can't really even tell you really have an elevator, a traditional elevator behind those doors. It looks really clean and classy, except for there's a call button right on the outside in the hallway. Includes a phone. Every elevator has a phone in it by code. We have to run a telephone wire from the equipment up into the attic, and then I have a telephone guy. That's all he does is follows me to the job site and hooks up the telephone line. A lot of people don't have telephone lines. By law, I have to supply it. If they hook it up, it's up to them. A lot of people get burner phones, you know, charge it every Sunday, Velcro it inside. But I always tell them, you have to have a phone line in there because you just never know. You know, they do break down once in a great while. I've never, I mean, knock on wood, I've never had anybody call me to rescue them, but it's something that I would highly recommend. The one thing about the traditional elevators, the square box elevators, is you have to dig into your foundation. You have to have an elevator pit 8 inches deep. That sometimes is a deal breaker for existing homes. That's one of the first things we talk about is, do you want to dig into your foundation or not? New construction, no brainer. When they pour the foundation, it's already in the plans. It's super easy for them. So with the traditional elevator on existing homes, very rarely do we do it inside the house. We usually do it outside, and I'll show you a picture of that. We build the hoistway outside. That way we call it an elevator pit, because the elevator has to go down far enough below the flooring for it to be level with the floor. So there's about 6 or 7 inches of metal and structural underneath the bottom of the elevator. So that's the reason why you need a pit. We call it an elevator pit, 8 inches deep. It has to be concrete. So that's usually a no for the customers. We have other options as well, which we'll get into. All right, here we go. Outside. So if you can't do it inside, here's an outdoor hoistway. The clientele come in here, go up, go out. Same thing here. They come in here, go up, go out, whoops, and vice versa. Those are probably $17,000 to $20,000 to do, but divided by 20 years, or just getting your parents or your husband or wife up and down, priceless. So that's the answer to an elevator pit for inside the house. A lot of people are going outside, and it's great. It's great. So that's the solution for that. And that's what we usually end up, if they want to go with a traditional size or traditional elevator, the box elevator. That's usually 95% of the time. That's what we'll do. So this is just the kind of drives. We'll go through this fine. So this is what I'm talking about down below. Why we need an elevator pit. The flooring of the elevator goes on top of here. The cab does. So this whole part goes down. This is a hydraulic unit. The elevator is built on this platform here, and this goes up. These are the rails. And this hydraulic unit pulls up these cables right here, pull this unit up, and that's how it all operates. And here's your machine equipment over here. So that's the reason why we need to go down 8 inches for inside the house. The advantages: hydraulics are super quiet, super smooth riding. They've been around forever. Machine room flexibility. You could either have the machine room inside the house, or you could have it inside the hoistway. They just came out. They're called machine roomless hydraulics. You could put everything inside the hoistway. A lot of people don't have room for this equipment in their house. You only need a normal size closet for that, but a lot of people don't have that. Disadvantages: can cost more on a longer travel. So if you go 2 stories, it's pretty competitive with all the other elevators. I'll show you the other types. When you go higher than 2, it adds probably $2,000 to $4,000 per floor going up. It does take longer, and there's a lot more maintenance because this is hydraulic oil that goes through here. It's not a deal killer. Some people are scared to have oil in their house, but it's, like I said, it's been around 100 years. The technology is phenomenal. So that's a hydraulic elevator. This is called a winding drum. And basically what I explain to people is, like on the front of Jeeps or cars, whatever, they have that tow kit with the cable, and if someone's stuck and you put the cable on the other car and it winds the cable up to pull the car out. Exact same concept. Here's the motor. Here's the cable. All it does is it wheels it up, and then it releases it to go back down the elevator. And here's the same framework. Advantages: this is the most affordable elevator out there. Good ride, obviously proven technology. It is a little bit louder, and it does rattle a little bit more, but it's nothing that you would worry about. We sell a lot of these in new construction homes just due to the fact that they're the least expensive, and they're great rides. They're great rides. Chain driven counterweight. So what these are is these are more like a commercial elevator. I would say commercial elevators are run by a motor up top, and then there's so the elevator is down here and the counterweights are back here behind the rails. What it does is just counterbalances as it goes up. The weights pull it down and it just levels it out, so the motor has less stress on it. Low energy consumption, inexpensive, faster install, good for multi-unit. I mean, for us, if you're doing a bunch of homes, that's a good, or townhomes. They are the loudest of all the elevators, but still, once again, not a deal killer. And not a lot of manufacturers do chain driven, just due to the fact that it's the poorest quality of all, ride wise overall. And customers, they want it to be nice ride and quiet. So we really don't even sell any of these. I don't sell these, but it's an option for your customers. If you're in a different state or city and that's all I have, fantastic. It'll get the job done. Pneumatic vacuum elevators. These are round pneumatic vacuum. They run off air. They're the only elevator in the world that runs off air. It's similar to when you go to the bank and you put your money in that little round tube and the bank sucks it through the tube and it goes to the teller. Exact same concept. When you're on the first floor, there's fans at the very top of the elevator, sucks the air out of the chamber. You go up, it lands on the second floor, it stops, and then when you're ready to go down, the fans kick on, it sucks you up about 2 inches, the interlocks drop, and all you do is you float down on air and the air escapes at the very bottom of the shaft. These are round. The great thing is these could go right on top of your floor in your house. No elevator pit needed. These are super. These have the wow factor in regards to looks, but they also have the wow factor when it comes to pricing as well. They have 3 different sizes: a 30-inch diameter one for a single passenger, which really doesn't do any good to people that need help mobility wise, and they have a double passenger one, which is 37 inches diameter. That is the #1 seller. And then the wheelchair size 3-person is 52 inches in diameter. And that's a big round elevator. And 90% of the time we can't even get it inside the house because the windows or the doors aren't big enough. So, and a wheelchair size one's going to run you starting it for a 2-stop at like $65,000. So they're pricey. They're not for everybody, but if you have the money and you've got the right house, they're awesome. I mean, I sell a lot of pneumatic vacuum elevators, a lot, not to people with mobility issues, just to people that want an elevator. Now we got some slides on that later. Gates. I just wanted to show you guys, this is just what comes on traditional, those first elevators we talked about. There's wood, there's see-through, there's clear, there's aluminum. It's just a preference. This one right here is the #1 that we sell because it's clear. People like to see out. This is a supply chain issue right now within our industry. It's causing 2 to 3 months delay because manufacturers can't get them. Commercial doors, I just want to show you this in case someone has got a really fancy house and they want commercial elevator doors. We can do these. These add about $5,000 a floor. They do need more clearance and hoistway, but there is a cleaner, nicer look if someone really wants it. There are options for that. So here's some car opening. I just want to show you there's really the sky's the limit. We could usually make any opening or openings work. Sometimes it costs a little bit more because it's custom, but it does work. You could have a left side entrance, a right side, you have a front, you could have front and rear, you could have a right and then a 90-degree left. So really, we could almost do anything you need depending on the layout of the house. So that's always a relief for the homeowner or the customer, is they're always nervous that we can't, especially 5 and 6. I mean, those are very rare, but when we could do those for the customer, they're so happy. So really, and the biggest one, the number one is obviously code, the third one, but the code 4 one is front and rear, where you enter on one side and you exit on the back. That's so usually whatever openings they need on each floor, we can handle. I haven't had one yet where we could. So I show you finishes. Like I said, this is kind of like when you buy a car, there's many options. You go with the plain, you can go with stained wood, veneer. You can make them as fancy as you want. You can make them as dull as you want. It's up to you. It's a custom with mirrors. A lot of people like mirrors because it makes the elevator look bigger. And some people like to see themselves as they go up. So, what types of options are available? So, the options are, this is called a I'm drawing a blank, a position, a call button. This calls the elevator from the first or second floor. Those can be any color you want. That's the COP, the car operating panel. Same thing, different styles, different materials. This is an interlock. What happens when this door right here shuts here, it puts a little peg into there that tells the elevator, okay, the hoistway is closed, so the elevator can operate. There's phone boxes. You could have an option for, and I'll show you this later, power gates, which I highly recommend. They're not that much more expensive, and it'll open and close the gates. And obviously, if you have mobility issues, you definitely need that. But it saves a bunch of headaches from, a lot of people don't close the gates the whole way. That's 95% of the calls I get is my elevator's not running. Well, shut the gate. And they're like, oh, okay. And then the elevator will run. And here's control operating panels. And I couldn't find any, but they do have mobility. They do have different buttons and so forth for people that have a hard time pushing and so forth. And you'll see some of those on a video I've got coming up. The hall stations, like we talked about. You could wave something in front of this one as well. That's more motion detected. Handrails, you do wood, round wood, metal, round flat bar. All elevators come with LED lights. 2 lights are typical. That'll light up the cab. Interior, no problem. Plenty of light. Easy to change out if they go out, which they don't really, but if they, for some reason, easy fix. So here's your power gate operator. I just want to show you guys this. So if you do go into a home or you're talking to an elevator salesperson, the door gate operator opens and closes the gate for the clientele. And that's, I don't make the customer get it, but I sell it really hard, and they're very thankful that they have it after the fact, because it makes a lot of sense. It takes any issue out of operating the elevator. All you have to do is push a button to go up or go down. And when you have someone in a wheelchair and you're in there with them, it's one less headache to open up and close. And also, if you're in a wheelchair by yourself, this takes care of opening and closing the elevator. It's a no-brainer if you're in a wheelchair. The pricing on elevators, we'll go through this quick. Just all depends on the drive system, the cable versus the hydraulic versus the counterbalancing and PBEs, you know, unfinished versus finished, number of stops and travel, you know, the options, the permits, the inspections, those are all different around the whole country. You know, new constructions be a lot less expensive than a remodel because the house is already built for the elevator. You know, travel time, service and maintenance contracts. That I would recommend that on any of these we just spoke about is once a year have a service contract. A service contract will range anywhere from $350 to, I've heard them up to $750. It's really good to have a maintenance contract. And also what we install, this is just a little tidbit, but we install a lot of these in vacation homes, and these elevators are meant to run. So when we do it on vacation homes, we make the elevator run every other day because it needs to run. Just kind of like a car. If it sits for too long, things start breaking down, especially on the hydraulic elevators. It needs to have the oil go through the system to go up and down. So even if you're not using the elevator, send it up every couple days and then call it back down. We talked about pricing. It doesn't include the hoistway construction, but just kind of give you, I mean, if you've got a, you know, $20,000 to $30,000 budget, you'd be good on a two-stop hospital or a wheelchair size elevator here in Texas. All right, so here's another option that Steve and I love. It's called Pollock through the floor. So this one does not need an elevator pit. It's only for 2 stories, and it has to go through a floor. So the contractor will cut a hole through your floor, rebrace the trusses, and finish out the inside of the hole. We saw a lot of these too. The great thing about these is they have a single, a double, and a wheelchair size. And the wheelchair size one is really affordable when it comes to elevators for wheelchairs. It's about $35,000 here in Texas, and it's awesome because it's all glass on 3 sides. It's beautiful. So yeah, here it is in the back corner. You can see the hole cut out here. Here it is by a kitchen. It goes up, you know, next to the kitchen. This is kind of like a showroom one they had, but it's pretty cool. So I wanted to show it to you because they have a chair that you could add to it. A lot of people that are not in a wheelchair like these older people because, you know, stability issues. They could sit down as they ride up. And the wheelchair one it's big, but it's not gigantic. And that's what I like about these. These are made in Ireland, but they have a place in Miami where they stock them, and these are awesome. These are really cool. And there's also one. This is called Pollock. This is who we sell. There's also another company called Stilts, and that's another great company. We don't sell Stilts because they already have a dealer here in Dallas, but that's another great option for you as well. Stilts is probably by far the number one through the floor manufacturer in the States. Pollock just arrived about 3 years ago, but I like these better just because I think they look nicer and they ride better. But Stilts sells a ton of these elevators, and it's a good elevator. I mean, we compete against them all the time. I'm like, you can't go wrong either way. If you get a Stilts, you'll be happy. So that's so the positives about this is it's the wheelchair size one is super affordable. You don't need to dig an elevator pit. There's sensors at the very bottom down here, and you'll see in this next video, there's sensors down here where if there's a marble or a kid or a dog or a cat, anything in time, you barely touch it and the elevator just stops. So no one's going to get killed. No one's going to get hurt. If there's an apple down there, it's not going to get squashed. So it's super, super safe. So here is here's a video. This is super cool. This will show you guys.
How to kill all mosquitoes.
Not mosquitoes though, but okay, so this will show you. So here's coming down from the second floor.
We're not seeing your video.
Oh, oh, dang it. You're not seeing it?
No, but the link is there so we can watch it.
Yeah,
on
yeah, go check
later.
out the, yeah, go check out the link. Let me, dang it. Okay, well, check that link out right there if you can. It'll show you going from first floor to second floor, how it picks up the second floor, it takes it up, and how it brings the ceiling on the first floor up. It's a super cool video. I'm sorry, that's all right. So the next product is called Liftup Flexstep. This is awesome for it's stairs, and it flattens out to get a wheelchair up it. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. So this is really, really awesome.
Before you go on, Jay, there was a question about the Pollock, how it operates. I
Hold
know
on a
it's
second. Let me mute
Yeah.
this. Wasn't expecting noise. Well, I'll be darned. Let's see.
You're good. Keep going.
Can you guys hear that music?
No,
Oh. I got music going on.
yeah, you're fine.
So what was the question, Steve?
The question on the Pollock, the drive system.
Yeah. So it's a chain driven drive system. Those metal, and you'll see when you look at that video, there's two rails that go up and with the rollers that go on the inside, and it's a cable driven mechanism, kind of like a winding drum. It's cable driven, and it goes up and down from the cable and the motor.
And that's on the car?
Yeah, pulls it up from behind.
Okay.
I gotta turn this thing off a second. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. All right, so here's another the lift up flex step. This shows you the guy on the right needs to get up, or the lady on the right or left needs to get up. The flex step goes down, and then it'll rise up on these. These are posts right here, and these are the posts, and this will lift up to get her to the second floor. This kind of shows you just the reverse. This platform will lift up to come get him, and then it'll raise him down. I haven't sold any of these yet. I took this class. I took Steve's class in January, and this is something that Steve showed me, and I did a little research and got on board with them. Haven't really had it. I've had one opportunity, but they decide not to do anything yet. But this is a great a resource for you guys. I think it's a super cool concept. Stair lifts. These are very, 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 very common. Oh, sorry, that darn thing's in the background. So this is the vertical, the straight vertical ones. If you have stairs that are just straight up, there's no bends or corners. These are super affordable. You can get something like this for like $5,000 installed. It only takes about a half a day to install, to do. Super, super affordable, safe, and there's a ton of those out there. Just another look going up a wood stair. So we sell a Savaria, but there's probably 30 manufacturers out there. They're all good. This is like a last resort. I try to use a stair lift for a last resort for customers. Just because over time, I think an elevator is better. But if you get into a wheelchair, this is not gonna work. And there's also curved, so we could make, stair lifts for curved elevators as well. This takes about half a day to 3/4 a day to measure for the salesperson like me. These are anywhere from $16,000 to $25,000. They're super expensive, and once again, it's a last resort. But if you're in a wheelchair or you have mobility issues, this might not work. But it can be done. I just want to show you guys it can be done. So here's the VPLs. So these are vertical platform lifts for inside and outside your house. On the coast, on the coast, they're super popular. You can do an all-enclosed VPL. You can do an open air one. This one's just going from here to the deck. This one's going from down all the way up to the second floor. Here's one perfect example of just getting up to the second floor landing. This door opens up here. You enter, it shuts, it goes up, and then this door opens up that way. And these are the cables that it runs off of, the motors up in here. And here's just some more pictures. You can get as fancy, you do glass. Those do get pretty warm in the summer on the coast. People do put air conditioners on top. But a lot of people use these for dumbwaiters as well, bring their groceries, luggage, furniture, anything you want.
Pets.
Here's another VPL for homes and businesses. Just more examples for you. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I'm open for any questions or.
There was a, go back to where you were, Jay. You went too fast. You have a dark screen there. There you go. That's fine. Question, with the stair lift, I guess it doesn't specify, but I guess the straight. Do you need a wider than minimum 3 foot wide stairway?
You don't. No, 3 foot is fine. Because what happens is these let me go back. These fold. I don't have a picture, but these fold up right here, so people can get up and down the stairs as well. So 3 feet's fine.
While you're on that topic, what are some, as an installer, as a retailer of these, what are some considerations that you have? What are some questions you ask your client to determine which product they should have?
So what I do is, first, when I go into a house, I ask, what are we trying to accomplish here? Where are we trying to go? 9 out of 10 times it's to the bedroom upstairs. Okay, so we go upstairs and then we work our way down. So we got to find out where the bedroom is, and so that's what we try to find out, is where do you want to go? What's the main goal here? So I always try to do an elevator first, any type of elevator, through the floor, traditional square box elevator. And I always try to use these stair lifts as a last resort, because these will always get you upstairs. So, and then also obviously money. I always ask them, I say, would a $30,000 budget work? And if, you could just see in people's eyes, like, oh my gosh, no. Well, then that'll, and that's fine. But I like to be honest, because I'm not going to waste their time or mine trying to figure stuff out. And then I say, well, how does, 15,000 sound if they got a curved staircase, or how does 5,000 sound, for a traditional straight stair lift? So it really boils down to, where do you want to get? When I walk into someone's house, and what kind of shape are they in? Are they in a wheelchair? Are they in a walker? Do they have assistant? A lot of variables, and like I said, I always just try to find out where they want to go and what they want to accomplish, and then I always start at the top and then work my way down to a stair lift. Okay. And $30,000 is a lot of money. It's a ton of money, but sometimes it's the best investment they'll ever make to prolong their lives.
And what kind of provisions are there for power outages or interruptions?
So if there's a power outage on a elevator, the backup battery will lower it to the bottom floor. Now, if there's and you could do upgrades to get a bigger battery backup, but for instance, if the elevator is on the second floor and the power's out, you really don't want to get in the elevator to go down regardless, because you're not going to be able to get back up. Stair lifts, same thing. They have backup batteries. They'll get you up and down a few times, but it's not, if your power's out, like, you have a bad storm for a week, there is no long-term solution unless you got a generator. So majority of any vertical transportation has backup battery to get you where you need to go in case something happens, but they're not built for long-term power outages.
So do you recommend a portable or in-house generator for your lifts and elevators?
I don't. I mean, actually, that's a great question. I've never been asked that before. I would think as you get older, I would think that would be something you'd look into as an investment, just due to the fact that, I don't know what else medically you have, wrong. If you need plugs and electricity, I know I've been into a few houses that if they didn't have electricity, I don't know how some of these people would survive for a couple of days. So that's a good. I've never been asked that before, but that's something I'm going to start bringing up to them. Is that's something you might want to think about.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Other questions, please, in the chat box, or just ask Jay straight away.
I've got actually working on 4 projects now. We do a lot of ADUs, and I've got one fella now who was just diagnosed with ALS, and he's on a ranch, and I was looking into the Flexstep. Never used that before. I've seen it and wanted to use it a bunch of times. I have kind of an issue. It's in a garage that we can't really modify because of the way it was built very poorly. But anyway, is there a way to minimize as far as, because the the room beside the car and the back room and all that, is there a way to install those kind of more into the house, so the room it takes out, like there's a step up and I kind of want to move it back into the breezeway? Is that
if you can't, those are meant to butt up to the house over there, and if you want to move it away, then obviously you got to build.
No, I want to move it into the house because the car, it's going to be pulling a van in, and then they're going to have the van get down and limited room. But my question is kind of, if we took that out, knock down the frost wall and move it up and built a cement box, would that work?
Well, you'd have to, would it work?
Essentially, my question is, can you put it in kind of like an enclosed concrete area? Does it need ventilation and stuff like that? That's kind of what I'm asking.
It does not need ventilation. All it needs is power.
Okay.
So I mean, you just have to. Can it go inside the house? Absolutely. If you need it to go in, a foot or two, yeah, you just, just frame it out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all
it
right,
doesn't need any ventilation, no, sir.
Okay, that's essentially my question.
That's a cool product.
It is, and
Yeah.
just to reiterate the price point, I think you touched on it, but Jay, the price point for the Flexstep?
I do believe they're around 15,000. They're not cheap.
Just retail?
That's my cost.
Okay,
It's
Yeah.
more like 30,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
by the time you get all said and done and shipping and everything, they're anywhere from, they're 25
Okay.
to 30.
all right. Other questions or issues or a project you're planning that Jay can help you with?
I did have a couple more questions because
Go ahead, John.
we've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of these things.
Okay,
We've used the stilts a couple times in a couple situations, a lot of money. But as far as when I heard the traditionals, you have to have the 8-inch downset. Now, then you said concrete. Can that just be framed down? Because
No,
I'm in New England and everyone has
Yeah.
a basement, so it's not like we're building on slab, so I don't have to bust up concrete, or does that have to actually sit on concrete?
so here, I don't know, in your jurisdiction, but I know in Texas, it has to be concrete.
It has
I
to
don't
be-
know. Yeah, I know in Texas it has to be concrete. I don't know anywhere else.
Okay. All right.
so you
I-
may
that-
have to excavate your floor, John, and that's gonna get into a whole nother code issue, so you have to look at that.
Yeah, because usually they're going from the first floor to the second floor, but they have a basement below.
Right,
So, obviously, if it's just a matter of framing, that's not a big issue. We do that for rolling bathtubs and rolling showers and all that kind of stuff. We'll downset those, but that it seems that it has to be on concrete. Okay.
but you
I-
might be able to frame an area of the basement and raise around it to create the pit.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Other questions? Maximum height for the Flexstep? Jay?
For what maximum height for the front step for
The
which
Flexstep,
product?
yeah, the maximum height that you can use. Are you aware of how high?
They are the good, and that's another good thing about that. Very a lot of options. I don't know the highest, but if you go on their website, use Google Flexstep or Liftup, they have all the document. They share a lot
Okay.
of stuff.
I think it's 6 steps, but I don't know what that
Yes,
measures
because
out to be.
there's 4 and 6 steps, but regards to height, I don't know that off the top of my head. Like I said, I've only been involved in one project, but I love the product.
Well, by code, it couldn't be more than 7.5 inches rise times 6 steps, right?
Yeah, so 40, yeah, so you're looking at 4 feet, 3.5 feet.
Now, going back to the safety feature that you mentioned, that the cars will stop if there's any kind of obstruction under it.
Yes,
Do they then go back up, or they freeze where they are?
it freezes where it's at. And
Is the
then
door open, allowing the person to
No.
get out? No, okay.
no, it'll stop, and then you push the up button, it'll go up to the floor above, and then you can get out to either get that thing out from underneath or yell at somebody to say, hey, there's an orange peel underneath the elevator, get it out. So it'll take you just back up.
Okay, all right. Let's see.
Question. Can you hear me?
Yes,
This is
Go ahead.
you. Where would I be able to see a pollard somewhere between Central and South Florida?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your
He
question.
wants to know where he can physically see a Flexstep in Florida.
And the pollard also.
So I'm in Texas. So I can, if you want to email me that question, I could do some
Okay.
research and get back to you on that. Pollock, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anywhere in Florida, but if you want to email me, I'd be more than happy to help you.
Okay,
I can look into that for you too as well. Hugh.
all right, thanks.
And then, of course, the PVE that we were looking at, that's made in Miami, so that's real
Yeah,
close.
there's a ton in Florida for PVEs.
Other questions or comments? We're coming to the end of our time. We still have a couple more minutes. If anyone has something else they would like to ask Jay or impart.
So Jay,
Yeah.
are you
Go
a
ahead.
distributor? Are you a distributor for all these various manufacturers that you have mentioned for the most part?
For the most part, yes, sir.
Okay, so if I wanted to buy from you, would I be able to do that?
What state are you in?
Florida.
No, I wouldn't, because we sell and install, and you would need, no, you're better off buying from someone there locally. I mean, I
That's fine.
hate to say,
That's fine. That's fine. I'll go
yeah,
do
I
it.
hate to say no, but
Yeah,
that
no,
it'd be so much
that's
easier
fine.
for you.
That's fine. Let me ask you. So do you have an installer that's pretty much, you have an alliance relationship with an installer?
Yeah, I have two install teams, which are two people, and they work for me. They're on my payroll.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anything else? Jay, this was a fantastic program. I know we covered a lot of this in the CAPS courses, but not to this level of detail, and provide a little additional understanding and from someone who's in the trenches. So really do appreciate your spending this time with us. Check out the replay. I know we went through it, and there's probably going to be something you'd like to see again. And you can reach out to Jay. Your contact information is on the slides, I believe.
Yes,
Go ahead,
sir.
go to your last slide. Is it on there on your last slide?
It's on the first one. Let me go up.
Okay, well, you can watch the replay and there it is again. So terrific. You can just take a note of that if you want his phone number or website, and all the information is going to be in there. It's ascendadditions.com. And with that, we are going to sign off. Our next program is coming up in September. You'll want to look for that on the website. And appreciate you all being with us today.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, you guys. Have a good Tuesday.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.